Ocean Technology, Government of India, which later became the Ministry of Earth Sciences. Over the past 3 decades, NIOT has been at the forefront for developing indigenous technologies to harness and sustainably utilize our vast ocean resources, both living and non-living, within India's exclusive economic zone. Guided by its vision to develop world-class technologies for the sustainable utilization of ocean resources, NIOT continues to play a pivotal role in areas such as ocean energy, deep-sea mining, marine biotechnology, underwater acoustics, coastal protection, and ocean observation systems. Today, as we celebrate this Foundation Day, we are also celebrate the collective effort, innovation, and commitment that have shaped NIOT into our only national leader in ocean technology research and development. On this special occasion, we are privileged to have with us Mr. Vidar Helgesen, Executive Secretary of the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission IOC of UNESCO, Professor Abhijit Gangopadhyay, Commonwealth Professor, School of Marine Life Science and Technology, University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, Dr. Srinivasa Kumar Tumala, Head of the Intergovernmental Coordination Group for the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation System Secretariat, and a beloved director, Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan. I kindly request our director and the dignitaries to kindly take their seats on the dais. So please. To mark the auspicious beginning of our Foundation Day, we now proceed with the lighting of a ceremonial lamp, symbolizing the light of knowledge and wisdom. I invite us respected dignitaries to kindly come forward and lamp the lighting ceremony. So please. Thank you, sir. Let us now seek divine blessings through the invocation. I now invite Mrs. Sunanda and Mrs. Vaishnavi for the invocation song. I kindly request everyone to rise for the invocation. Thank you for the peaceful and devotional rendition. It is my honor to invite Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan, Director, National Institute of Ocean Technology, to deliver the welcome address and present an overview of NIOT's recent activities and achievements. So, please.
Our honorable guests of today's function, Professor Avijit, Mr. Vidar, our own colleague now taken a different avatar, Dr. Srinivas, beloved secretaries of SYL Department of Ocean Development and now Ministry of Earth Sciences, Dr. Vinod Gaur and Dr. Muttunayagam, past directors of NIOT, Dr. Kadiroli and Dr. Ramdas, deputy directors of NIOT, our colleagues helping us from ministry, my colleagues from other sister institutions of MOES, colleagues from other institutions, R&D institutions, and my dear colleagues of NIOT gathered here in this auditorium today. And interestingly, there are colleagues attending this program online from campuses in Andhra Pradesh as well as in Sri Vijayapuram in Port Blair, in Andaman. Media and press professionals, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to all of you. And what a great day actually to celebrate the successful completion of 32 long accomplished years of services to the nation through research and development of ocean technologies for this country and also for the society. I think it is well known to all of us, more than 3 decades ago, well before the buzzword that we started using in these days in practice, the so-called blue economy was in place in practice. This institute, NIOT, is instituted with an extremely simple mandate but powerful vision. It's a one-liner basically. I think you can find it in our internet portal as well, NIOT's web portal. The mandate was very simple: develop indigenous technologies to harness marine living and non-living resources. How simple the definition of the mandate to NIOT given more than 3 decades ago. What evolved in the later stage as the ocean economy, and then further it is actually enhanced to blue economy in the later stage. Even without realizing the fact that we have been contributing to the blue economy for the past three decades of time, this institute has been tirelessly and also selflessly working towards that. Indeed, it gives me immense pleasure and honor to have all our guests and all our colleagues on this wonderful day. It's my pleasant duty and at the same time difficult task cut out by my colleagues to make a presentation on the achievements and accomplishment of this institute of the last year, just 1 year. It's not going to be 3 decades of the achievements, all in just 10 minutes. The reason is very simple. They know that I'm a professor from IIT who can speak with the 2 slides. He can speak for 2 days and 20 slides he can complete in 2 minutes. And maybe that's the reason why they always push my boundaries, test my patience, and test my efficiency too. Same here. I am cut out to speak and also give the wonderful accomplishment of NIOT in the last year through the PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to walk you through very quickly the glimpses of the activities, very important activities that we have actually achieved in the past 1 year of time. I think in 2024, we celebrated 31st Foundation Day, and I happened to present the achievements immediately few months after I took charge as director. And I was overwhelmed by the activities that I have to shorten it for about 45 minutes. This time they gave me only 10 minutes. So I'll have to make it actually rushing through. Welcome you all again. Is it okay? All right. Sorry. I'm not out. Well, NIOT's research footprint is actually spanning from Arctic to Antarctic. We have done and also have deployment actually in the Arctic region, and we have done a lot of testing and demonstration in the Antarctic region as well. Majority of our research activities happens in the Indian Ocean, Bay of Bengal, as well as Arabian Sea. And if you look at the Indian coastline, not a single maritime state is left unturned with the projects being implemented by NIOT. I think that's the kind of the spectrum of activities that we do. And when it comes to the kind of water depth, as shallow as the near shore to as deep as more than 6,000 meters of water depth, NIOT has ventured, tested, demonstrated, and very proud that we have even dusted many of the kind of challenges that people have been talking about. We do have a vision, long-term vision, 2047. Thanks to our young colleagues within the campus, it's a huge mass of young colleagues. They brought out a very nice documentation, Vision 2047 of NIOT. Whenever you get time, you please go through that. I request our colleagues from other institutions that you can also see some possibilities of interacting with us, collaborating with us, and it could be a beautiful journey together as well. And this documentation is also setting the path for where the NIOT would like to see itself in the next 20 to 25 years from now. These are all challenges that we have posed for ourselves, no one else. We would like to even set up a research station in the water depth of 6 kilometers deep ultimately. And I think the groundwork has already been begun from our deep sea tech side. And we would like to have a research station at least in the shallow water to begin with in the 500 meters of water depth. For the benefit of our guests occupying the dais, I think we are synergetic to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. All the NIOT's research R&D verticals focus one or more UN's SDGs. The goals are set and we are working towards it. Be it as actually the food, energy, water, health, or it could even be the climate change that we are talking about in the global scale. NIOT would like to play a significant role in each of these aspects. Interestingly, 11 out of the 17 SDGs being addressed through various programs of NIOT. Various programs, of course, we are speaking about the verticals within the institute, and all of these R&D programs together is satisfying the 11 out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. Slide. We have been entrusted with a mammoth project, mission mode project of Deep Ocean Mission by Government of India through Ministry of Earth Sciences. And now we are seeing the fruit of the hardship that our team has put in the past 5 years of time. And this, obviously, everybody is familiar of these pictures. We are developing a human submersible, which can actually dive to the water depth of 6,000 meters deep in the Indian Ocean. And the integration part has already been successfully accomplished. And it was undergone dry test in our integration bay. And we also have successfully completed early this year, beginning of this year, the controlled harbor test. I think we had wide range of manned as well as unmanned tests to test the performance, individual performance of the components that we have actually fitted as part of the integration, and it has come out very successfully. Meanwhile, two of our scientist members have gone all the way to France and taken the human submersible Nautil along with our French counterpart, thanks to a FREMER, thanks to French government. And these two are the deepest dive by any Indian aquanauts in the history. One of our scientists, Dr. Ramesh, has taken 4,025, if I am not wrong, meters of dive using the Nautil, and the very next day, JP Singh has taken dive of 5,000 meters in the Atlantics. It's going to go a long way. It's also going to be printed in the history of the Indian aquanauts. These two are the deepest dives so far. We do have, of course, dives by this counterpart scientists in the NIO and other MOES institution scientists have done that, but I think these two are the deepest so far in the record. We are marching ahead. The shallow water dive, 500-meter dive of our Matsya 6000 is going to be certainly taking in middle of next year, 2026. Our team has already assured. Some of them are already nodding that means yes, you are correct. That we are going to go ahead for sure. 500 meters of water depth next year, followed by 6,000 meters in 2027 middle. Deep sea mining team, they're always proud of the crawler that they made. It has actually reached some record water depth in the Indian Ocean, collected nodules. We have actually successfully come back collecting nodules in the Andaman Seas last year, December 2024. And now they are actually working on the integrated mining system to see the nodules not just collected at the water depth of more than 5,000 meters, but also pumped all the way up to the vessel, crushed, collected, and it will also satisfy all the environmental impact regulations of the International Seabed Authority as well. So it's not just engineering we are talking about here, we are talking about some kind of a responsible science as well. So our team is equally working on the environmental impact assessment and how best the technology can actually give a sustainable solution to collect the sample without making much of the negative impact on the existing ecosystem. Team Marine Biotechnology has been doing wonderful science ever since they have been actually framed as a vertical, separate vertical. They have already documented, collected, cultured huge number. I think my understanding is that more than 1,000 samples in the recent, not samples, species have been actually characterized by our team in the recent times. And we also parallelly working on the technological counterpart to collect these samples. We are developing indigenously the high pressure collection system, which means the microbes will be collected in the same temperature, same pressure as that of their existing prevailing conditions in the deep sea conditions, and they'll be brought back to the laboratory for further culture and characterization. We are also building a beautiful infrastructure, 3 hours drive from here up north towards Nellore. It's one of its kind, very unique deep sea marine microbial repository. And I think the progress is really well right now. The foundation of the building has already been begun. The ground floor of the entire building of the order of more than 25,000 square meters would be exclusively meant to host the range of highly sophisticated equipments for the characterization and collection of these microbes. Whereas the first floor, we envisage to cater startups and also make sure that these microbes will be put in use for the pharmaceutical as well as the nutraceutical industries. We are going to provide subsidized space, subsidized access to our equipments, and also the samples so that the technological readiness level of the collected microbes, deep sea microbes, going to be up to the market, the commercial scale. We have team also dedicatedly working on developing the infrastructure for the advanced marine station for ocean biology. Again, it's not just infrastructure. We are promoting the science through outreach. We have already signed an MOU with universities in the maritime states, 2 maritime states, one in Tamil Nadu and one in Andhra Pradesh. And we are already in talks with another maritime states. And the idea is that to create a hub here in Chennai for the ocean biology, marine biology, and there will be spokes in each of the maritime states identified through either an academic institution or through a research R&D institutions. That's the idea. And there will be some kind of actually collaboration all the time. It's not just only the domestic collaboration that we are talking about through the AMSO. We call it as a acronym, the Advanced Marine Station Ocean Biology. But we are also talking about the international collaboration. The infrastructure that we are building, slightly 30 minutes drive from here down south towards Pondicherry, 5-acre campus of NIOT, that we are also going to make a world-class accommodation facilities even for those who travel from elsewhere to stay with us and do the research along with our scientists. Energy and fresh water, something this institute has been built on top of that. There are some challenges in the past, but I think we have now come a long way that you know how to handle the situation. We are building ocean thermal energy conversion system on the land in Kavaratti Island and Lakshadweep group of islands. And that's happening as we speak. The mechanical components have already been mobilized to the island, and the civil construction is actually going really fast. And by another few months from now, we'll be able to produce few 10 kilowatts of the energy, electricity from the ocean thermal energy conversion technology. And the same setup is also going to be utilized for producing water of the order of 1.5 lakh, 150,000 liters per day for the island community. The team has already started actually working on the design to produce electricity through the ocean current, 5 kilowatts in the Andaman. I think the design is in the advanced stage and we are working on the tender documentation. Our target is by end of 2026, we would be producing the 5 kilowatts energy from the current turbine. Our team has been working on the design of 5 megawatt Vortec power plant. This is going to be offshore floating. And as a fringe benefit, we also have developed a saline water lantern. This can be given almost free of cost to the fisher folks. Basically, the fisher communities, they've been now started using our the saline water lantern. You just need only 250 ml of salt water, and then the lamp wood can be put in use for next 500 hours of time. Coastal engineering team, I think, has been extensively working in solving the problems related to flooding and coastal erosion in almost all the maritime states, including the islands of Andaman as well as Lakshadweep. Our desalination plants, 9 islands right now in Lakshadweep Islands, group of islands, are the only source of potable or drinking water for the coastal communities in the islands. I think it has a very unique honor of being inaugurated by the President of India, Prime Minister of India, and also Vice President of India. And we also have teams working on the marine sensors, ocean electronics, marine instrumentation, ocean acoustics. We not only develop the sensor, but we also test it in the laboratory level, and also we take it to the field, do the field demonstration, and even beyond. Some of these are actually been integral part of our ocean observation system already. We're talking about collection of the ambient noise produced not only by the marine living organism, but also by the man-made vessels lying in this region. Recently, we cherished the happy moments of testing the underwater telephone developed by our team. We have taken it to Idiki Dam, the horizontal distance of 5.5 kilometers with no cables connecting between the two transponders, and fitted on 2 different floors. We could able to say hello to each other clearly, crystal clearly. And this is one of the longest distance we have tested so far. And our team has already been working on to test it in the actual real field open ocean conditions in the vertical direction, 5.5 kilometers. We do have facility along the very close to Nellore, along the coastline, and it hosts a range of very unique engineering infrastructure as well as science infrastructure. And right now we have the ballast water treatment testing facility is in place. And for that, we need a huge amount of seawater to be taken in to the facility. And the trestle is already been completed successfully in less than 1 year of time. Since the last Foundation Day celebration, we have done the ground puja with what we call it as the foundation puja. And today we are going to inaugurate. And this is a very record time to complete any marine infrastructure of this kind. Ocean observation has been selflessly working towards collection of the data, meteorological as well as oceanographic data. It has been supplied systematically to our sister organization INCOIS and also to IMD and so on and so forth. And that goes into the numerical models and helps the predictions as well as the projection of the weather conditions better. And we're not only speaking about the conventional ocean observation, but we also have team designing the indigenous development of buoy meant for the tsunami warning system. And these buoys are very challenging, very unique in terms of its functionality. And our team has been so successful in designing it indigenously. And we are operating a number of tsunami as well as the conventional open ocean observation buoys. We do have a fleet of vessels, I think known to everyone in this auditorium, and it's a mammoth task for us to maintain this, keep it functioning all the time to cater into our requirements of scientific explorations as well as demonstrations in the open sea. And our team has been doing wonderful on that as well. We have successfully completed last year mapping of 0 to 3 meter contour all along the entire east coast of India. This is a mammoth task taken by any single organization. We are talking about actually nearly 2.8 lakh line kilometers of survey done in the 1 year of time. It's a record time again. We are talking about 0 to 30 meter. It may look very simple, but 0 to 30 meter is the complex region where you have swash zone, wave breaking, and all the dynamics happens. And it is quite a task actually to complete this in style. But our team has done it, accomplished it. We do have long-term goals, and NIOT has committed to play a major role in the mission, upcoming mission Mausam as well. And apart from the conventional buoy-based ocean observation that we have been doing in the past 2+ decades of time, our team has committed to design, slightly come out of the comfort zone, challenge ourselves, and design non-conventional, unconventional ocean observation system as well. Team has already started working on the design of the buoy that can actually host floating lidar and floating radar as well. These are power hungry, these are memory hungry systems, and our team has already started working on even the battery design as well. How much battery you require to really design to cater into the requirement of the power supply to the lidar 24/7, 360 days we are talking about, apart from the solar panel as well. Our team has already been started working on that. I think by 2026, we should be having one demonstrative floating lidar will be floating somewhere in Arabian Sea of Bay of Bengal. I think this is assurance given by our team. Host of events, almost every single or other day, I think NIOT would be hosting some event, technical events or social events, or it could be outreach events and so on, or it could be the mandate given by our ministry, government of India, something similar to Swachh Bharat and so on. I think our team has been volunteering to do these activities, especially the outreach activities. We have been doing that. I think I have statistics brought out by one of our colleagues saying that in the past 1 year of time, we had more than 9,000 young students visited this campus. That's a number I think we should applaud by ourselves. More than 9,000 students from various engineering colleges, science colleges, universities, even schools. I think we now stopped counting because the number becoming so overwhelming that our team says that Akisa, I think it's enough. We'll stop somewhere here. I think we have huge number of students visiting thanks to our active outreach programs and so on. All of these achievements are not possible without the support of our partners, be it as an industrial partner, academic partner, or other MOS sister organization, or it could be R&D institutions of other ministries and so on. So we call this as a team effort. It's not just only the 200 odd, the regular scientists of this campus, but there are secretaries of the current ministries and also the past secretaries of our MOES institution, directors, past directors, and scientists who have served here as well as serving now. Technical and administrative staff, we also have different types of categories of actually technical staff, regular project and outsourcing. All of their effort put together, what we are actually right now. I'm standing in front of you. And there is a huge amount of actually hand holding. It happens always. There are a lot of experts, they support us on day-to-day basis. And there are some external experts who are also visiting our campus. Like, we had a couple of them actually visiting as part of the foundation day. And a lot of ex-employees, in fact, they volunteer to help us indeed. So it's really overwhelming to see them visiting the campus and add a lot of value to the existing team's effort and so on. So all this put together, interaction, collaboration, the journey was so beautiful since 1993. And with that quick note, I would like to congratulate all my fellow colleagues of NIOT and also convey my heartiest the Foundation Day greetings. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your warm welcome and for the insightful overview of NIOT's contribution to ocean science and technology. As a gesture of our respect and appreciation, we take this opportunity to felicitate our esteemed guests who have graced this occasion with their valuable presence. May I now request our director, Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan, to honor Mr. Vida Helgisen, Executive Secretary, UNESCO IOC, with shawl and a memento. Thank you, sir. I request our director to felicitate Professor Avijit Gangopadhyay, Commonwealth Professor, University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. Thank you, sir. I request our director to honor Dr. Srinivasa Kumar Tumala, Head, ICG, IoT WMS Secretariat, UNESCO IOC. Thank you, sir. We are also honored by the presence of our former secretaries, Dr. Vinod K. Gaur and Dr. Muthanayagam, and our former directors, Dr. Kadiroli and Dr. Ramadas. May I request our director to felicitate our former secretaries and former directors. Thank you, sir. NIOT is honored by your presence and for your continued association. I now take pleasure in introducing Dr. Srinivasa Kumar Tumala, Head of the Intergovernmental Coordination Group for the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation System Secretariat, UNESCO IOC. He is a renowned oceanographer and a key contributor to the development of global tsunami early warning system. I'm also happy to share that Dr. Tumala has served as NIOT Director for a period from July to September 2024. I invite Dr. Srinivasa Kumar Tumala to address the gathering. So, please.
Professor Balaji, my good friend, Mr. Vidar Helgesen, IOC Chief, my boss, Dr. Avijit Gangopadhyay, Professor V.K. Gaur, Dr. Muthunaigam, and then I also see former directors of NIOT, Dr. Kadirali, whom I haven't met for a long time, Dr. Ramdas, colleagues from the ministry, MOES, and beloved colleagues from NIOT. Thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me to be here, and then and also Executive Secretary of the IOC. Thank you for having us here. And then let me congratulate all of you on the NIOT 32nd Foundation Day. It's an honor for me to be here. It's kind of like homecoming to reconnect with all of you at NIOT, which is an institution I have admired really since my early days at INCOIS, when we worked together in establishing the Indian Tsunami Early Warning System, which is such a successful project. And it was just mentioned, I also have a personal connection with NIOT, not only through collaborations, which we have had, of course, very strong collaborations, but also because I briefly held the charge as Director NIOT during a transitional period. And that experience, in fact, it was a very valuable experience that gave me a really deep appreciation of the complexity and ambitions of the projects that are being implemented in NIOT. Working with all the bright engineers here, that really gave me a new perspective of, the complex projects that you're doing here. So I'll be very short. From my perspective at NIOT in COIS and the ministry working for a long time, and then working at the IOC, I'd like to convey just 3 points. Number one, Professor Balaji has provided a very detailed overview of NIOT's achievements, which highlight how NIOT stands as a pillar of India's blue economy. Believe me, when he also spoke about blue economy, we didn't speak to each other. We wrote our speeches separately, but yeah, NIOT contributes. I agree with you how you contribute to the blue economy when even the word was not being spoken about, in those older days, 30 years back. And so you are very, very trusted partner also in global ocean science, not only in India and beyond, actually. So from the water and energy security, NIOT is working on delivering sustainable fresh water to LTTD plants in Lakshadweep, which is such a successful project, to pioneering OTEC, power desalination. So you're kind of securing the water and energy of India's future. And then there are a lot of applications that take this kind of product beyond the Indian shores. There is such capability. And under the deep ocean exploration and technology, under the deep ocean mission, the work that you're doing on the 6,000 meter capable human submersible is going to really place India among a select group of nations that have this capability. So congratulations on that good work. I really wish, we will progress as planned, and we'll successfully in the next year, test the system. And on the coastal resilience and ocean services, from restoring eroded beaches, you work together with NCCR, and through coastal engineering to maintaining mood and tsunami buoys, which also Dr. Balaji mentioned. In COIS and the Indian Ocean region is a big beneficiary of the tsunami buoys, indigenized ones that you maintain. And the marine biotechnology and open sea cage culture and so on and so forth. NIOT is strengthening coastal resilience and ocean-based food security. Again, congratulations on the good work. So that's point one I wanted to convey, the great work that you're doing, which is actually very relevant for the country and the region. Now, point number two, which is often not very highlighted, is NIOT's impact, which extends beyond India's shores. I vividly recall the IOGUS when it was established in 2002. Professor Ravindran, the then director of NIOT, he was the chief scientist on the cruise that actually Sagar Kanya took from Chennai to Mauritius with scientists from 14 countries, which actually established IOGUS. And now it's a very fledgling Goose Regional Alliance operating under the UNESCO IOC framework. So that's a good starting point that NIOT provided. It's a collaborative spirit that even thrives today, working together on observations in the region. And then I'll also mention, I like to mention here in 2016, when the then IOC Executive Secretary, Dr. Rabinin, he visited India, Dr. Atmanand, who was then the director, played a key role in discussions that led to the revival of the IOC Indio. Now we have IOC India subcommission, which was that time a committee which was largely inactive. And that meeting at NIOT 10 years back, actually, it kick-started the activities again. And then NIOT, I should also say, holds the record of having 2 executive secretaries, visiting you in 10 years. So that's, thanks Vidar for coming back and for the large efforts that you have made to come to this meeting, despite the UNESCO general body meeting that is going on in Samarkand. So he has flown in directly from there. So thanks to Vidar, thanks to Balaji, and thanks to especially Ravichandran, Dr. Ravichandran, our secretary, who facilitated all of this. So that's one activity on the I wanted to mention. And also, so Vidar's presence here really signals a renewed commitment to partnership in the region with NIOT, with Indian institutions. Vidar will speak in much more detail. But that's also something that, this visit to NIOT, signifies. Now, point number 3, which is the final point I would like to make, is in my current capacity of what I do with the tsunami warning systems. I see firsthand the critical importance of sustained observations that NIOT does, INCOIS does as agencies, Indian partner agencies, for saving lives, especially the Ocean Decade Tsunami Program. The last 2 days, Vidar inaugurated this program along with Secretary. That meeting, in fact, was trying to address what are the things that we need to do in the next 5 years in the Ocean Decade to ensure that we are able to put out very accurate tsunami warnings, and we are able to prepare people, make them resilient to the coastal communities. So the ODTP sets a very ambitious goal, which is actually to provide timely and actionable tsunami warnings for every coast at risk by 2030. And then you should be able to have a tsunami confirmation within 10 minutes of a tsunami getting generated. Now, colleagues at NIOT understand how challenging it is. And this is where I see a lot of contribution that could come from NIOT, actually. So achieving this requires innovation and partnerships, and NIOT's expertise in indigenizing tsunami buoys, tide gauges, the omni buoys that you maintain, your experience in maintaining this large network of coastal radars and so on and so forth, that's going to be very vital, actually, to scale up the network. So the 10s and 20s of numbers will not be sufficient. You need hundreds of these observing systems across the Indian Ocean region to achieve that capability. So by advancing low-cost and robust technologies, NIOT can help scale this observing system across the Indian Ocean. And this supports not only India, but also SIDS, small island developing states, and LDCs that depend on shared infrastructure. So this contribution will enhance the Ocean Decade Tsunami Program is what I wanted to convey. So with this, I would like to thank you for this opportunity again. And then I would like to wish all the colleagues in NIOT a very happy Foundation Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing your valuable insights and for your continued collaboration with NIOT. I now have the honor of introducing Mr. Vidar Helgesen, Executive Secretary of the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO and Assistant Director General of the UNESCO. He initiated and led the work of the High-Level Panel for the Sustainable Ocean Economy 2017-20 as a Norway Special Representative of the Ocean and was co-chair for the Advisory Board of UN Decade of Ocean Science and Sustainable Development. Mr. Helgesen has served as Norway's Minister for Climate and the Environment, Minister for European Affairs, Chief of the Staff of the Prime Minister, and Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. He also served as the Secretary General of the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance. Prior to taking up the role at the IOC, he was Executive Director of the Nobel Foundation in Sweden. I invite Mr. Helgesen to deliver the address.
Professor Balaji, friends of the ocean. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be here in Chennai for my first visit to the National Institute of Ocean Technology and to join you in celebrating NIOT's Foundation Day. I'd like to thank the Ministry of Earth Sciences and NIOT for the warm welcome and the opportunity to engage and explore areas for collaboration. 32 years and a lot of exciting achievements, as we just saw. I looked up the number 32 in numerology, and it signifies, it's a compound number representing progress, communication, and growth. And it's associated with the journey of life. And I think that is really appropriate. We know that the ocean covers 71% of the planet's surface. But more I really look forward to not only learning more about the contributions of NIOT in these domains, but also to look at how NIOT and India's role in that global architecture, that global collaboration can be further developed and further strengthened. Many people globally refer to India as an emerging power. I would say India is a power. India is powerful. India is extremely resourceful. And this is why we depend, and the planet and the global community depends on even more active engagement in international collaboration for the ocean on the part of India. And as we are moving deeper into the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development that has come halfway and which is coordinated by the IOC on a mandate from the UN General Assembly, institutions like this will play a critical role in translating science into solutions. It's not a decade for ocean science, period. It's a decade of ocean science for sustainable development. It's a decade to seek solutions, to bring communities together, researchers, governments, philanthropies, civil society, to seek solutions, seek services that will help society. Through the first 5 years of the decade, more than 600 projects, more than 60 global programs have been launched, mobilizing around 1.5 billion US dollars for what is the world's largest ocean science effort ever. But we still have a lot to do, given the enormity and the vastness of the ocean, given all that is unexplored, given the knowledge gaps that we still have. So we need still to intensify our work to ensure regional and global effort to build resilience, foster innovation, and ensure that ocean science serves society. On behalf of the IOC, I congratulate NIOT on this important occasions. I look forward to the discussions and deliberations today, to watching your or visiting your labs and learn more, and to discuss how we can strengthen our collaboration for a sustainable and inclusive ocean future. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your words of appreciation and your message, sir. I now invite Professor Avijit Gangopadhyay, Commonwealth Professor, School of Marine Science and Technology, University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, and a well-known person to all the NIOTians. He has held multiple visiting, distinguished and honorary professorship at Harvard University, the Institute of Oceanography, University of Sao Paulo, Brazil, the Indian Institute of Science, IIT Kharagpur, and IIT Bhubaneswar. We are honored to have you, sir. I request him to share his address.
Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me okay? Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Director Professor Balaji, for inviting me. Thank you, Dr. Srinivas, for enlightening talk, and this is your own institution, so that's great. Mr. Vidar, thank you very much for being here, and on behalf of IOC, your comments are very well taken, and I think very meaningful. Dr. Gaur, Dr. Muthunayagam, the ex-directors of NIOT, my heartfelt thanks for inviting me here. I'm really pleased to be here. This is probably an all distinguished gathering here. This is probably the third or fourth time that I am here at NIOT. And so this is actually an honor and privilege to be among the dignitaries on the stage here. So let me tell you briefly about how I see NIOT from the years that I have been. You can tell that I was in India, and then I was not in India, and then I'm back in India, and so on and so forth. So I left India for doing higher studies when Of course, there was no NIOT, there was no INCOIS. There was not even many people in an ocean-locked country knowing about oceanography. And the only thing that was there was an institute in Goa called National Institute of Oceanography back in 1981. Okay. And Department of Ocean Development was just starting in the government of India. And so I have had experiences of not knowing what the ocean is, but getting a degree of ocean engineering from one of the premier institutes in India. I did not know that IIT Kharagpur will be this premier when I graduated, but knowing very little about ocean and ocean technology or ocean science. Then I went out and I realized that India has done a lot since my time in India. And NIOT is a great example of that. So I wish to congratulate you all of achieving what I never thought would be achievable in India. And this is really something, and that makes me very humble and very honored to be here with you all, because I know what it takes to make these things happen, because I have been in other parts of the world doing or developing institutions and looking at the scope and breadth of what you have achieved from the director's talk. It's really meaningful to see, and at least for me, realizing that if you started in 1993, and that's when my younger daughter was born, and she is 32, you all are 32, and that's amazing what you have achieved here. And that is because of your dedication to the cause of doing something that is more meaningful, just each one of you. And that you have in yourself. And that is what I respect. And I think that has brought you to this point of calling it NIOT as one entity. That has brought all your work together in a point where you can present yourself to the outside world. And I mean that because I have colleagues all over the world. And when they ask Avijit, where do I go to make this instrument? I just made it and I want to have someone from India to take a look at it. I say, yes, you should go to NIOT. That's the power of whatever you have done. You are not just in India, but you are ever present in the world, and be mindful of that. The reason I'm telling you is that 30 years is a short time for an organization. And all your past directors and everyone that came before you has or have given you that mat, that jumping ground to move in a much different way in this changing world that is happening before us. And I think you have a very unique director with unique vision that is ready for NIOT 2.0. And that is where we need to go, and that is where you all come in. And so I wish to leave it at that. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I wish you a happy journey after 32 for next 100 years or more. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. As a part of our achievements, we have an important milestone: the inauguration of the Seafront Pipeline Trestle at the Seafront facility of NIOT's Andhra Pradesh campus, constructed to support wide range of research works, and the trestle facilities, a seawater intake caisson, and berthing of a low draft vessel. Let's have a short video of our trestle.
the National Institute of Ocean Technology (NIOT) under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India, was in need of a coastal testing facility to meet large-scale prototype testing for calibration of indigenously developed systems, as the projects at NIOT Chennai had overwhelmingly grown to an extent requiring a land abutting the sea. To realize this vision, NIOT established a seafront research facility in the year 2015 in a land area spread across 153 acres along the coast of Pamanji and Vagaru villages in the Tirupati district of Andhra Pradesh. The location offers direct seafront access to the east, with the Buckingham Canal on the west and the Swarnamukhi River to the north, providing an ideal natural setting for ocean research and technology development. Welcome to the Seafront Research Facility of NIOT, a state-of-the-art land-based ballast water treatment technology testing facility, along with an associated standard organism test facility, was established and inaugurated during the year 2024. Equipped with advanced concrete test tanks, pumps, pipelines, and a robust electrical infrastructure, this facility enables the verification and evaluation of ship ballast water treatment systems, ensuring their compliance with the International Maritime Organization (IMO) guidelines. Considering the need for a large quantity of seawater to support ballast water testing activities, a trestle with a seawater intake system was proposed. The foundation stone for trestle infrastructure was laid by Secretary MOES on November 8, 2024. The project was entrusted to the CPWD on a deposit basis, and the construction was carried out in day and night shifts with a quality control mechanism in place to ensure the timely completion of all piling works ahead of the 2025 monsoon season. The construction methodology adopted involves onshore casting of precast structural elements, simultaneous execution of marine board cast-in situ piles, and the transportation and precise erection of the precast components on the piles as per the approved design. As on date, all construction works have been successfully completed except for the caisson works, which was delayed due to the impact of Cyclone Monta.
The 200-meter length approach trestle with an NJT extends up to 3.5 meter water depth, and it is supported by board cast-in situ marine piles of about 62 numbers. The NJT comprises of seawater intake system and a low draft vessel berthing facility in order to measure the ocean parameters, validation studies, deployment purposes. The overall deck system is kept at 7 meter above the chart datum in order to overcome the storm surge and other wave loading aspects. The trestle consists of 5 meter wide deck to accommodate vehicular movement and traffic loads, and also to keep the seawater intake pipelines, which is outfall pipelines, are kept above the seabed saddle block, and the inlet pipelines are kept below the saddle block. The deck system, which comprises of piles, beams, pile caps, are designed to withstand storm surge and wave loads and earthquake loads and seabed erosion.
The trestle provides facility for supporting multi-purpose state-of-the-art testing for marine biotechnology, open sea cage aquaculture, coastal engineering research, and ocean sensor systems testing in close proximity to real ocean conditions. This facility enables testing in real-time sea states, thereby making India self-reliant in prototype testing and contribution to blue economy. This puts NIOT on par with world-class institutes like the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute. Piling works and deck slab for the trestle infrastructure, costing about 22 crores, has been completed in a record time of 1 year in harsh marine environment in the wave-breaking zone, indicating excellent teamwork and administrative support.
The major portion of the trestle work has been completed in 365 days. It is due to the continuous dedicated effort by the team of engineers from CPWD and executing agency and NIOT engineers.
NIOT takes pride in dedicating this unique facility to the nation.
I now request our former secretary, Dr. Vinod K. Gaur, to inaugurate the seafront pipeline trestle. Thank you, sir. Under the Deep Ocean Mission, along with the indigenous development of Deep Ocean Human Scientific Submersible Matsya 6000, autonomous underwater vehicles AUV capable of operating in the deep ocean, with the objective of implementing autonomous mission planning algorithms, an indigenous autonomous surface craft MANUS 1.1 is developed. I request our former secretary, Dr. Muthanayagam, to inaugurate the autonomous surface craft MANUS 1.1.
Over the past 2 decades, Deep Sea Technologies Group of NIOT has developed deepwater and polar ROVs and autonomous scoring system for exploring the Indian Ocean resources up to 6,000 meter water depth. The technologies developed have been transferred to the Indian industry. Presently, under the Deep Ocean mission, a Deep Ocean Human Submersible Matsya 6000 for carrying 3 persons up to 6,000 meter water depth is under development and in demonstration stages. Under the Deep Ocean Mission Vertical 1 underwater robotics program, homing and docking of AEVs Trinetra Shakti 100, Deepwater AEV RE 6000, and swarm robots Tyrell 300 are under development. With the objective of implementing autonomous mission planning algorithms in the autonomous underwater vehicle, a surface craft MANUS 1.1 that shall support mission planners for deepwater operations, homing and docking, and swarm robotics are under development. The performance of the MANUS is demonstrated in a water body inside NIOT campus. Upon launch, MANUS onboard guidance navigation and control computer GNC is programmed with waypoints so that it executes a lawn mover pattern required for a typical survey operation. Taking reference from the GPS, GNC algorithm guides the craft to navigate through the waypoints. The program is tuned to ensure that the deviation from the intended track is minimum. Upon completion of the mission, MANUS is programmed to return to the location where it shall be retrieved back. The technology developed shall be implemented in all the underwater vehicles developed by NIOT. Deep Sea Technologies Group, leveraging blue economy through indigenous development of remotely operated, human-occupied, and AI-enabled autonomous underwater vehicles.
I request the dignitaries of the dais to release the brochure of MANUS 1.1. As a part of Foundation Day celebrations, extended abstracts were invited on the theme Ocean Observation for Mission Mausam. There was an overwhelming response to this announcement, with 29 abstracts registered within a span of just 4 days. We now have the release of Book of Abstracts, which compiles these innovative and inspiring ideas from young researchers and professionals. I request the dignitaries to release the Book of Abstracts. Thank you, sir. The mission of India International Science Festival, IISF 2025, Vigyan Se Samriddhi for Atmanirbhar Bharat, is to celebrate and advance the spirit of science-led growth for a self-reliant and prosperous India. IISF 2025 aims to bring together scientists, innovators, educators, students, industrial leaders, science communicators, and policymakers for one platform to promote collaboration, creativity, and knowledge exchange, which is proposed to be held on 6th to 9th December 2025 at Punjab University, Chandigarh. On this special day, NIOT proudly hosts the curtain raiser event of IISF 2025. I now request our director, Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan, to release the curtain riser of IASF 2025. The IASF is jointly organized by the Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Department of Space, and Vignana Bharati, VIBHA. VIBHA plays a vital role in promoting science and innovation among the public and in connecting science with society.
Under the visionary leadership.
IASF. I request Sri Abka, representative from VIBHA, to deliver the short representation on IASF 2025. So please.
So, Madam. Sorry.
Under the visionary leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, India is fostering scientific excellence and remarkable innovation. In line with the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat,
आजादी के 100 साल हम ऐसे ही नहीं बिताएंगे। आजादी के 100 साल ऐसे मनाएंगे कि दुनिया में विकसित भारत का झंडा फहरता होगा।
setting the similar tone, the India International Science Festival, IISF, began its journey in Delhi, 2015. 10 editions of IISF have been organized in various parts of the country. Today, it has grown into India's largest platform, celebrating science, technology, and innovation, bringing together scientific stakeholders on one stage. The India International Science Festival, IISF 2025, with its theme Vigyan Se Samriddhi for Atmanirbhar Bharat, will celebrate the spirit of innovation and Atmanirbharta in India for global good. The festival will be hosted at Punjab University, Chandigarh. Will feature vibrant thematic events that highlight India's achievements, innovations, and advancements across diverse scientific fields. The festival's core agenda is to strengthen the partnership between industry, academia, private innovators, and government, fostering collaboration and driving the nation's scientific ecosystem forward. The future, the Viksit Bharat 2047, starts now with the India International Science Festival 2025.
So respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais,
So considering the time constraint, I will quickly rush to the PPT. So actually, this India International Science Festival is conceptualized by Vijnan Bharati. This is in fact the largest science festival happening in India, and in fact maybe all over the world. So I will quickly, so there are around some 22 different components this year we have conducting as a part of IASF. So I will quickly go through the slides which is here. It's a cut and racer kind of things has happened. So I'm not going that. So, and this time we are conducting the program. So every year we conduct in association with some of the ministry. This time the Ministry of Science is so coordinating the entire event. And I'll read the names of the main events. That is Science, Technology and Ecology Meet. Then ambassadors and science. And ambassadors of various countries and Indian Ocean Rim countries meet. They are inviting all the ambassadors around the Indian Ocean Rim countries as well as the GCC countries as well. Then science, maths, earth science and international Olympiads for the students. Then waste to wealth. Then transformation through new age of technologies. And these are the things which we touch all over all the students as well as research centers, every aspect of the country, like student scientist interaction program, innovation technology for entrepreneurship development, self-led India for the future, startup mission enclave, students village, ideas for Vikasit Bharat hackathon, empowering youth for student scientist conclave, youth leaders roundtable, global science and technology alliance. These are the main program. So we touch the entire aspect. Then there is Science Literature Festival, Media Conclave, National Science Organizations Meet, then Science through Games and Adventures. And these are the main program which is conducting as a part of India International Science Festival. So thank you. And I request the active participation of all in this program and coordinate with it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Dr. Basant Kumar Jana, Scientist G and Deputy Director, Administration, to deliver vote of thanks. So please.
Respected dignitary on the dais and dear my colleagues, good morning, all of you. It is my privilege and great pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks on the special occasion of NIOT's 32 Foundation Day. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Vidar and Professor Abhijit, Dr. Sinwas, for their gracious presence in this occasion. Your inspiring word today is about NIOT and India. It is an encouragement to all the young scientists and my colleagues to deliver for better in future. Thank you, sir. I sincerely thanks to our secretary, Dr. M. Ravichandran, who could not to present with us today, but his wishes are with us to carry forward his visions in future. I thank the former secretaries, those who are present here, Dr. Vinod K. Gaur and Dr. Mutnaikam sir, and our former directors, Dr. Kadurli sir, Dr. Ramdas sir, for their presence and their supports from their start of this institute till today. Your continued support and gratitude have been the pillar of NIOT's growth, what we are seeing today in the world. Our heartfelt thanks to our directors, Professor Balaji Ramachandran, who has made me to organize this event with our team selected by him, and all are dedicatedly worked to this function to come to this stage in a big success. I also thanks the present directors of various systems institutes who are present here And also those are not able to come in person, they have sent their wishes on this Foundation Day occasion. Also, I extend our appreciation and gratitude thanks to our all program divisions, Dr. Vijay Kumar, Sandeep, and all the presence over here from MOES to grace this occasion. And that is the encouragement towards us. And also I thank all the mission directors, Deep Ocean Mission, Mission Monsoon, those are present here. A social word of appreciation to the organizing committee members, those who are working all this, to the CMC, estates, account, security, press and media, all to make this event very great success. Finally, I'd like to thank each one of you present over here to being part of this occasion. Let us continue to work together with a passion and commitment to we move towards the greater accomplishment of the years to ahead. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. I now request all the dignitaries and the participants to kindly assemble at the front of Saga Sangamam for the photograph. And also please join for the high tea at Mandan Hall. I also request everyone to assemble back by 11:50 a.m. for the Foundation Day lecture by Professor Avijit Gangopadhyay. Please, thank you.
fully remote learning. That's it.
Check. I welcome you all back for this Foundation Day lecture by Professor Avijit Gangopadhyay. I now request Dr. Joshia, Scientist F, to introduce Professor Avijit Gangopadhyay. Ma'am, please.
Very good morning to all of you. It's my privilege and an honor to introduce Professor Avijit Gangopadhyay from the School of Marine Science and Technology at University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. With academic roots in naval architecture from IIT Kharagpur, applied mechanics from IIT Delhi, and a PhD in ocean engineering from the University of Rhode Island, USA, Professor Gangopadhyay today holds the title of Commonwealth Professor at University of Massachusetts. Over the course of his career, he has held research positions at prestigious institutions such as Harvard University and Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and he is also a US Fulbright Nehru Scholar. He is also the author of the acclaimed textbook Introduction to Ocean Circulation and Modeling, which has become a valuable resource for students and professionals in physical oceanography worldwide. Beyond his scientific achievements, Professor Gangopadhyay has been an inspiring mentor to generations of students and collaborators across the globe and continues to foster strong research partnership between the United States and India. Please join me in welcoming Professor Avijit Gangopadhyay to deliver the Foundation Day lecture.
Yes, it's full of lights. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to give this presentation on your Foundation Day. I'd like to thank again the director for inviting me to give this opportunity to talk to you regarding uh, something that is probably more futuristic than going backwards, but that is what I plan to achieve in next half an hour or so. Also, thanks to all the dignitaries and everyone present here for giving me this opportunity to talk to you regarding something that I feel all of us should appreciate where we are today and where we all began. And that is why I chose this particular title. And the title is Evolution of Our Understanding. And I thought through this evolution of our understanding of the oceans from the time of none other than Benjamin Franklin till today. So I don't know if all of you have heard of Benjamin Franklin. Can I have a raise of hand who did not heard of Benjamin Franklin? Okay, so everyone has heard of. You know that he was a statesman, right? And back in 1770 or back in 1760, he was actually, US was very much like India in 1946 or 1947, 13th August. It was under British rule, okay? And Benjamin Franklin was the first postmaster general of a post office in Philadelphia, the first post office. And Benjamin Franklin, when he took over, I'm starting with the story because that makes a lot of sense to actually share the story with you. He was in a room and I'm talking 1760, so about 250 years from today back. So he was struck by these pile of letters. Is this mic okay, or should I just head back a little? Is this fine? Yeah. So he looked at this pile of letters that came from, as I told, US at that point of time was a British colony. So they were ruled by people who were from England. So a lot of complaints came from London saying that when they write letters, this is the time before emails and before internet and before, this is 1760 we're talking about. And so the letters, they arrive in Boston or Philadelphia, which is across the Atlantic. So here is London, here is Boston. They take about 3 weeks to reach Boston when they write the letter from London, whereas their counterparts who are writing letters from Boston, it takes only a week to reach them. And they said, what's happening? There were thousands of letters like that, which then led Benjamin Franklin to think. He was a real thinker. And then he shared that with his nephew, Timothy Folger. And Timothy Folger was actually in Nantucket on Massachusetts Island. One of the islands is Nantucket. He was a ship captain. And Timothy Folger said, well, Uncle Ben, I think I might know what's happening. There is something in the ocean that like flows from US towards Europe, and it's pretty swift. And then Benjamin Franklin said, okay, I want to investigate that. And so that is where things started. So what he did is 3 years after that, and in summertime, he would go with Tim Folger's ship, in the ship, with a bucket and a thermometer, and measure the temperature across this river in the ocean. He did that for 3 years, and there are documents in Philadelphia, Franklin Library. I've seen it. You guys, if you visit, you can see it. And he then drew something that looks like what we are going to be talking about today in the first 10 minutes, the Gulf Stream. Okay? And that Gulf Stream is a river in the ocean, in the Atlantic, which flows all the way from the east coast of US to the west, to the shores of Europe. Sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. So this is what one man can do back in 1760, where the result of that was a chart, and I'm going to show you that. So I start with that story because telling you it was Franklin who started the oceanography, the modern oceanography, the way we know it. And mapping of the Gulf Stream was first done by Benjamin Franklin and his nephew, Timothy Folger. So what I will do is, what they did is they tried to map it, but then the whole talk will be, first I'll talk about the Gulf Stream, then I'll take you to blue economy and NIOT, and then few non-science thoughts about what is sustainability, what is it that we are going to do with climate change, what is it that we are going to do with AI, the way we see it, okay? So I'll just talk about this. This was a talk, and this is the work has been done with multiple people from Utsol and NOAA and NSF. But essentially, it's the Gulf Stream and its eddies over the past 45 years and what we learned from them. And there is a lesson in that. Okay, so short introduction. I think I'll start with that. I already started with that. A census for Gulf Stream produces these rings or the eddies, and then we'll go there. We are talking about time scales of days and weeks. We are not talking about seasonal variability. We are not talking about interannual variability. We are talking what we see today as we look at the ocean through satellites. Okay, so that is the chart that was done by Benjamin Franklin and Timothy Folger, and look at this Atlantic Ocean. There are two charts available in the world, the real chart. There are two copies. One is in Paris now, and one is at Ojol Oceanographic. But this is what he did with a bucket and a thermometer, because he did not believe that the whole ocean is like an infinite river. It has to have its limit. That river has its limit, and the limit is what he has drawn. But look at this. This is 1768 or so that he did this. He did the surveys in the 60s. But if you see, there's nothing but this river-like thing. So it is the river-like thing, and it is a western boundary current in the subtropical North Atlantic. But if you fast forward from 1760 all the way to 200 years, 1760 to 200 years, 1960, but 1970 onwards, we got the first satellites, right? It was 1970 that we got the first satellites. And the picture of the Gulf Stream is very different here than what it was here. What Benjamin Franklin could not see are the eddies that the Gulf Stream generates. Okay, this was the picture from satellites. So that was a huge observational breakthrough in our understanding of how ocean works. Because previous to that, we used to think it's a mean circulation, it is just a current flowing. But once you got a cinematic view, a synoptic snapshot of the ocean, we suddenly realized that, wow, there are eddies that are there all over the ocean, and these currents like the Gulf Stream are producing some of them. There are eddies all over the Indian Ocean now. So it's a synoptic character of the ocean that is more important when you talk about blue economy, when you talk about doing things for tomorrow, knowing today's ocean. The fish, they don't care about, well, they do care about seasonality, but within a season, they care more about the synoptic character of the fronds, the eddies, and where we get food to live. So, just to give you a little bit of history, 1776 to 1948, 1970, people were busy fighting each other in most of those 200 years. And then came 1970s and then 1980s, when we had multiple satellites going out, measuring temperature, measuring color, measuring sea surface height. And now we have salinity, we have other products, we have even SAR. You just saw that the INSAR was just going out last month or so. And then numerical models came out in 1980s with the computers being made available to people. And everything else has become more or less forgotten history. Okay, observational oceanography started big time in 1950s. 1963 was the first Indian Ocean expedition that led to formation of NIO. Okay, and 1970 to 1980, we had these satellites which gave us multiple ways of looking at the ocean. And we realized that it is not only just the mean circulation, but it is the multi-scale circulation from 100 kilometers to even 5 kilometers to 1 kilometer. So it's a multi-scale and multidisciplinary, because you are beginning to look at colors, you're beginning to look at heights, you're beginning to look at sea level changes. Okay, so I just want to tell you something that is, so as things developed, the Gulf Stream, as it moves from northeast of US out to the deep ocean, so about 2,500 kilometers pathway, it forms these warm core rings and cold core rings to the north and south, and see how it is forming these rings. Okay, and you can see them in the SST pictures as you see it. We have actually collected and analyzed lots of data by one lady who has looked at the Gulf Stream for over 40 years and created these charts and documented all these eddies that are formed from the rings. And so if you think, she did this for thrice a week, 2 to 3 times a week, generally Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It was first started at NOAA, then she did it herself, Jennifer Clark. And Jennifer did this, and she is doing it even today. 1980 was her starting point, and she is doing it even now. Each and every day she gets an SST. She draws the Gulf Stream, knowing what was happening yesterday or the week before, because she is doing it continuously. So it's a huge knowledge base, and you can create a census of these eddies very easily because you're looking at them. You know their radius, you know their temperature, you know their track, you know how long they lived. Each and every ring can now be censused. That's what we did because she shared with me, because we use these charts to do operational modeling. And in US Navy wanted to do this because these rings are very important acoustically. That's where the submarines can hide themselves, because it is a sound duct. And that's what is probably happening in the Indian Ocean too, and we don't know where they are. Okay, so there are submarines that can hide inside these eddies, and you won't be able to detect it because your acoustic ray will go around it and go in the circles within that area. So that's why we wanted to, Indian Navy or US Navy wanted to do that. And we did that when I was at Harvard, and with numerical models. So you can put these things in a numerical model with some analytical functions and predict 3 to 7 days forecast. Okay, that's beside the point. But so this is 2 to 3 times a week for 45 years. And we have these charts from Jennifer, and that collection has been uh, cast into census, WCR meaning warm core rings. So my graduate student actually did the first census for 1980 to 2017, 23 years of data. And then created all these. So essentially, you can see the date of birth, the date of absorption, and all that information. You can put that in a GIS framework and create a census. That also tells you the annual rate of formation of the warm core rings. And when we first saw this, so this is on the x-axis, there is years, 1980 through 2017. And what we saw is that warm core ring in the time before 2000 had an annual rate of formation about 18, which jumped to 33 in the later part of the decade, so after 2000. So this is what struck us very odd to us, because this is essentially a regime shift. It has been tested and vetted. And this regime shift also led to understanding some of the changes in the biological system in the slope sea and the shelf waters in the Western North Atlantic. Now, the recent years show another regime shift in 2018 or so. Now, while doing this, so then 20 plus years of, actually 40 plus years of data was then analyzed by another student. And what she found was, very interestingly, that the old idea of how those rings happen, there are more rings which happen to the west of the seamount chain, west of 65 west. If you look at this, this is a ring radius versus longitude. There are smaller rings here, and there are also shallow rings. We found that from Argo data. And the rings to the right are generally large amplitude meanders breaking off from the rings. And so this was very well appreciated by the reviewers. So now you have two kinds of rings from 40 years of data from synoptic data on the northern side of the Gulf Stream. So then essentially it's, if you can see this, so these are called aneurysm rings. These rings, the northern flank of the stream bulges out and then moves or rotates in an anticyclonic formation. And those are very different from the pinch off rings, which happens because the meander pinches off as it loops on itself, and then you get a detachment of these rings. These rings are very different than those rings. These are smaller and shallower than the pinch off rings on the northern side of the stream. These, okay, thank you. We have used these charts for multiple interdisciplinary applications that are shown here. So squids, general surveys, right well detections, and also for ONR, Office of Naval Research, for research cruises and other things, and blue shark research. This is an experiment that we did where the ring actually, this particular anticyclonic ring sheds off a cyclonic counterpart. It's called the mushroom type rings. And then in between, it just shoots warm water into the shelf region. So this is where Udsol is, and I come from somewhere here. And this was a very interesting experiment. So I'm not going to, this has just been published, I think, a couple of months back, and you can take a look. Glenn was the principal scientist, and I was trying to do something. Okay. Now talk about the other side of the Gulf Stream, and that is the southern side. What we then saw was that on the southern side, there are these new type of rings which we had some notion, but we did not know, and hook type eddies. These are not pinch off Sargasso eddy that we generally used to know of. So to the north, we now have aneurysm type rings. To the south, we have hook type rings. These are very different than the old idea of pinch off. The reason I'm showing this is that, okay, so the hook type was verified by SST, hook type was verified by chlorophyll. I don't have that. But hook type eddies are also available in other currents, and they have been seen in Kuroshio on the left and in Brazil current here. And someone told me at INCOS that he has seen it in the Indian Ocean as well. And so the understanding of Gulf Stream rings before 2024 was this: the two types of rings. If you look at Webb, if you do Gulf Stream eddies, you will still see it. What we now know, thanks to the students and thanks to that 45 years of synoptic charts, we now know that the Gulf Stream actually have four different kinds of eddies. Two are the old pinch-off eddies to the north and to the south, but then there are these eddies, aneurysm rings, which shoots out from the northern flank of the stream, and the hook shoots out from the southern flank of the stream. And that's very different. And this knowledge was not part of any book so far written. And so this is new information that we got very recently. The paper by Grace Jensen was published in 2025. about the about the hook type rings, and it was hugely appreciated by the community, and they're looking at its implications for numerical models, data assimilation, our understanding of how things work, what is the exchange. You see this blender barrier idea that was put forward by Tom Rosby and Emmy Bauer way back in 85. Now we can explain that barrier because the stream does not exchange water masses across itself because these rings are on either side of the stream. Okay. So the idea that I put forward there is that 40 years of synoptic monitoring of the North Atlantic system led us to realize that there is something new happening, which was we were completely blind to it for 40 years. I have done my PhD way back in 1992, started in 85. I did it on Gulf Stream. I did not ever think in my dreams that the Gulf Stream will have different kinds of ring formation. That my student showed me, yes. So the point I'm trying to make is we have to look at the synopticity of a system. And if we look at the synopticity of a system, we might be surprised what we did not know. And that is the lesson I learned from this. So when I came to IIT Bhubaneswar, thanks to Saurabh, thanks to ANRF on my Vajra, I said, well, we will look at some of the images of the Indian Ocean. And maybe we will find something because it is important. Now, previous to attacking that, my involvement with IIT Bhubaneswar led me to interact with multiple students of Saurabh. And some of these work, some of you might recognize, we have done it with HFR radar. And very interesting work, again, looking at the synoptic understanding of not only Bay of Bengal, but also in the Andaman Sea and in the Gujarat coast. And actually, we worked with Professor Balaji on one of these papers. So there is also some work that we did with the Western Boundary Current in the springtime, which is like a mini Gulf Stream, and its interaction with the cyclones, because the cyclones like Amphan and Fani, they were actually going through the western side of the Bay of Bengal, and they were amplifying themselves, getting heat from that Western Boundary Current in the springtime. And that was the reason where we called it the shifting seasonality of these cyclones. There's another study that we did in the Andamans, looking at the tidal component and 11-degree north channel exchange. Okay, so the synopticity in this ocean is amazing, and you can see it. And I don't know if this will ever run. Can you run the video? If go down below, yeah. So you can see it's a 6-week preview. Yeah, it's a little slow, but you can see the structure, and it's like every week. And you can see the persistence of different structures during that period, and the formation of eddies and formation of currents and so forth. I don't think we have analyzed these carefully yet. And this needs to be done in a systematic way. And that will generate so much of information that will help designate the PFZ, probably take it from the frontal detection algorithms that are being used to species dependent forecast. And that might be one way to think about it. But you can see the eddies, you can see the currents, you can see how it evolves. Okay, we tried to do something very, Jennifer Clark actually produced that based on her knowledge and looking at the Bay of Bengal for the first time. And if you look at those features, and if you look at on the left, these are ISRO total currents, there is a very unique similarity between the features that she identified from SST and the currents that the ISRO system produces from sea surface height. If you look at Arabian Sea, there's 3 weeks during the first month of this year. And you can see how it evolves. And you can see the Western India coastal current. We tried to do the same thing. The thermal fronts due to WICC is right there. And then you can identify some of these anticyclones and cyclones in the both the geostrophic current as well as the SST there. But a systematic understanding would really enhance our capabilities, I think. When you compare this with, this is just for fun, with Shorten McCready's old paper of 2001, which was a seasonal picture of winter monsoon, January, February time, and this is February. There is a lot more structure than these published understanding of the Arabian Sea. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is that synopticity tells a very different story, a very energetic story of the regions, and we should be mindful of that. Okay, so some thoughts for the future. Observations are critical for understanding, prediction, and monitoring. Synoptic observations and subsurface observation, and I really want to say that we need observations on the subsurface. We lack that, not just mean circulation. And young minds who are present here, think about the synopticity of the system, because I think that's where the future is, and there is always unknown in that domain. Okay. Now, I think Professor Balaji has shown us how these missions have been really fulfilled to the dot, and it's always sustainable utilization of ocean resources. That is the goal, and there are these key objectives. I wanted to share a personal anecdote from 1983, before the time of NIOT, when I was involved in a government, and this is before I left for US. I was involved in a project from Government of India to develop an underwater television system mounted on a tethered self-propelled vehicle. And this is the report, first page, that was submitted after I left for US in August 1987. And what we had is on the left. In 1983, we called it Jal Nayan. It was supposed to be a 100-meter underwater television system. UWTV is what we called. And you can see it. It was done in New Delhi, in those days, Okhla Industrial Estate, and it was indigenous. And what we have today, thanks to NIOT, and when I looked at this is Matsa 6000. This was 1983 India. This is 2025 India, right? I wanted to congratulate you on this moment. Seriously, that was then and this is now. That was the state of the art at that point of time in India. And this is the state of the world, this point of time in India. And I have been part of both, so thank you very much. Okay, so talking about the mission, and the vision. I think it's all very futuristic, which is great. And I won't delve into these, but I want to show you something that is interesting. The 7 verticals of India's blue economy, as dictated in the policy document from Dr. Ravichandran's office. The first one is very nice. It's an accounting framework and ocean governance. The second one is marine tourism via marine spatial planning. So you want to preserve certain areas and then you want to open certain areas for marine tourism. Marine fisheries, aquaculture, and fish processing, emerging industries essentially focus on biotechnology. And ports and infrastructure, naturally deep ocean mining, offshore energy, wind, coastal energy, some other energy types that Professor Balaji shared, and international engagement, collaboration, cooperation, and security, etc. So, where does NIOT fit in there? And I think it's always there. It's technology, technology, technology. In all of these verticals, there is a role for NIOT. And that's huge because I think you have very important data sets that has been collected by all the instruments that our former directors have asked us to collect, and they are there to exploit those information. They should be analyzed properly. There is physics, chemistry, biology, fisheries, the buoy, LECP data, current meters, high frequency radar, and multiple other surveys. Then there will be new need to observe the ocean, to implement those verticals that are being dictated. There will be new sensors to develop strategically in every vertical. And I think, and this is what I would hope and that happens, that there should be regional centers around the country for observing, monitoring easily from their coasts and probably taking your ideas and under your guidance in those places. So, the last part of my talk, I think I'm well within limits or I'm already out of limits. Okay. So, this was an old American Indian proverb. We might have seen it as Gandhi saying in some times, but the earth, the air, and the land, the water are not an inheritance from our forefathers. It's actually loaned from our children. And if you think like that, then you need to provide a sustainable earth. That's the standard definition. That's pretty close to a standard definition. I think the way we understand that we came to this earth as a guest, we are using it, we live it the way we found it, something like that. Okay. So that's the definition. But this is what I wanted to bring to the table today. We really believe that definition. We want to utilize resources for our benefit or demand on energy. We should look at the energy consumption because every day we are asking for more and more and more. Our increasing energy consumption is increasing. We can't deny that. Our population is increasing. Our aspiration at all strata, not just at the top tier, but at all strata of the human society is increasing. Everyone wants to have a car. Everyone wants to have a cell phone. Everyone wants to be right here and enjoy air conditioning, right? And that is an aspiration. At the same time, sea level is increasing. So human migration will increase and they will go to different points. So how can we live the earth like it is and then leave the earth, but give it to the children like we found it? Because we are already increasing our aspirations. We are putting demand on the earth every time that we do anything, right? So there is a problem, at least I find a problem with that definition of sustainability, that I will leave when I go from this earth, the same earth that I got. I cannot do that because the earth that I am using at when I'm 100, if I am ever 100, when I was 0 or starting 1 year, the two earths are not the same because I have already exploited the earth for 100 years. So that idea does not work in my mind in a sustainable definition. If I'm, we can discuss that, but at least that's what it looks like. So this is an example of what it was for Shanghai. 26 years ago, it was that. 26 years later, it is this. It's a classic example of what we call development. Is that sustainable? You tell me. That is what I question. What is a sustainable? If this is only 26 years, less than 32 years that we are celebrating today, right? What will happen in another 30 years? There is a prediction for 40 mega cities to be built in the world every year, right? So this is a classic example of where things are and how will you make this a sustainable development for cities around India? That's the question I'm asking. Okay, so we need to find a solution. Okay, let's talk through this. How can we sustain such an I'm reading it because I wrote this last night, so it's still fresh in my mind. Um, how can we sustain such an ever-increasing demand with limited supply? Essentially, Earth is limited in its supply of resources to us. We might think that it is, and blue economy is a good thing to think of, but it will have its limits pretty soon, maybe not in 50 years, but in 100 years. We need to find a solution, but we don't have it now. So we need to find time, give us some time to find a solution. We need to understand what is going on. We need to monitor in the near term future while we are developing this blue economy for meeting the GDP goals of the government. We need to monitor where we are headed for the next 50 or 100 years to find maybe solutions. I think we need to think different. Technology is there to help. Use it to help growth, maybe in a controlled manner, as well as seek solutions for a way to maintain balance. I think we need a balance between the ecosystem and our need for more and more and more in a sensible way. Technological solutions are needed. Okay, synoptic oceanography, critical need. Okay, we need to know the three-dimensionality of the ocean. So because we cannot just depend on the SST. We need to couple the 3D atmosphere to the because to predict our monsoon and cyclone forecasting, we need co-located observations. So importance of observations in the era of AI, how will you do this? So understanding of already collected data all over the Indian Ocean to help train AI models. We do have a lot of data. And if we put together a good set of minds in understanding them, I think we can help train the AI models and not have them just throw the data to them and let them figure it out. I think that does not cut it. Find the gaps in the AI solutions, collect strategic data where the AI, you don't understand the AI models. Physics guided AI, physics constrained AI. There's one thing that has to be done and that is we talk about extreme events, but we don't talk about how we could forecast those. And that's a big problem, I think, in the next few years that has to come. So if I could modify that idea of what is sustainability, I would put it like this: think not what the earth can do for you, think what you can do for earth. And with that, I'd like to thank all of you again listening to me. And thank you again, Director, and thank you again, Dr. Gold, listening. I would like to give my thanks to MOES, Vajra, IIT Bhubaneswar, INCOIS, of course, NIOT and others. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Sam, for your informative and thought-provoking lecture. Please allow us to hold you while for this session. We now take a moment to honor our senior staff, Dr. Basant Kumar Jana, Scientist G and Deputy Director, and Dr. Raju Abraham, Scientist G and Group Director, for completing 25 years of dedicated service at NIOT. I now request our Director, Professor Balaji Ramakrishnan, to join Professor Avijit Gangopadhyay to honor Dr. Basant Kumar Jana with the award of recognition for his 25 years of service. So please. Thank you, sir. As a part of competition held on innovative ideas for successful accomplishments of Mission Mawsum objectives, I request Professor Avijit Gangopadhyay, our director, and our former directors, Dr. Kadiroli and Dr. Ramadas, to give prizes for the best abstracts. The first prize goes to Tirumurugan K, B. Keshav Kumar, G. Dinesh, and M. Arulmuttaiya for monitoring Smart Ocean Atmosphere Observation Network, also known as MONSOON. The second prize goes to S. Praveen Kumar, B. Safir, B. Ariram, and K. Ramesh for AI-aided Intelligent Ocean Observation Network from shallow to deep sea. The third prize goes to V. Balanagajyoti, T. Sasikala, Palaniyappan A. and Agalya T. for AI-enabled underwater sensor networks for intelligent ocean observation and forecasting. Thank you, sir. I also request the dignitaries to honor the jury members of the competition. Dr. Vijay Ravichandran, Scientist G, Deputy Director, Operational Project. And Dr. S. Ramesh, Scientist G, Deputy Director, Mission Project. Thank you, sir. As we come to the close of the 32nd Foundation Day celebrations of the National Institute of Ocean Technology, we take this moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to all our distinguished guests, dignitaries, and participants for gracing the occasion with their presence. As a special thanks to everyone who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make today's event a memorable one. May NIOT continue to scale new heights in ocean technology and serve as a beacon of innovation for our nation. Let us all rise for the national anthem. With this, we come to the conclusion of the Foundation Day celebrations of NIOT. You are all invited for lunch at the Mandan Hall. I also request the dignitaries, director, deputy directors, and all the scientists G and scientist F to join the lunch at Rajendra Chola Hall. Thank you. Thank you so much.